In this episode, you'll get a breakdown of the quote, motivation implies some form of conflict. Welcome to Energy Alignment for Entrepreneurs, the podcast helping online service-based entrepreneurs reduce stress, balance emotions, and grow a profitable business in less time. I'm your host, Justin Igliscus. Let's go. In today's episode, you'll discover why self-honesty is difficult yet worthwhile, how to ignite enthusiasm naturally, and what a lack of enthusiasm is implying about you. First, let's look at the quote. Motivation implies some form of conflict. So who is it that is depending on motivation? That's the initial question, because that is subtly hinting at the conflict. If you need to motivate yourself to do something, there is inherently a battle, right? And now this brings up the Venn diagram, which is in the middle, you have flow. On the left, you have discipline. On the right, you have surrender. You need a balance of discipline and surrender to create that state which we'll label flow. But what actually is happening in that state is that there's a timeless nature to it. And when there's too much discipline, you're thinking, you're trying, you're planning, you're forcing. When there's too much surrender, you're too soft, you're weak, and there's no strength. Now, the real essence is having that balance between the flow or the discipline and the surrender. So when you let that happen, the conflict in you dissipates. There's less of a battle. Now, to have to motivate yourself, this is just screaming that there is some form of battle. And now, let's say that you found yourself in having a tough day, right? Whatever part of your day it is, maybe you just got triggered, or it just feels like the storm cloud's been following you. If you have had a tough day, there has to be an honesty about what created that. And I bring this up because there's a correlation between where your initial root of motivation was built. Or in other words, what is it that you're motivated to do? Where is that back end drive coming from? Because a lot of the times what happens is we have a motivation that we want to do something, but we never question that motivation. And therefore, that's why we have a battle, is because it's a false motivation or a false God, right? This is why I used to not know what the word dogma meant. But dogma, if you're not familiar with the word, is a form of mindless acceptance, right? It's like another way to say dogma is the way that many people treat religion, where it's like, oh, I'm religious and therefore this is the right religion. And if you talk to me or ask me any questions at all about where I stand in my religion, I'm very rigid, sharp, closed off, and I definitely know what I'm talking about. And I definitely am certain that I am right. It's that sort of energy. And this mindless acceptance. Now, if we veer back in to the point of the motivation, we're looking at how mindless acceptance has a correlation to conflict. To me, that's what sprouts out right there. And so that means that we need to question where we got the ideas which we are trying to motivate ourselves to conform to or achieve, right? This happens. And sometimes you're going to be wise enough to feel that you just have certain karma. And this is almost where I stand. Like, I'm not saying I'm wise because I have unwise moments, right? I think anyone who holds on to creating or projecting an image of perfection, you should probably run. Should probably run from that. So that's what I'm saying. Um, I'm also here to hide things. That's just not in my nature. So holistically, it's this big cauldron of understanding. Wait, let me get under where I'm standing. Let me look beneath the initial word of motivation, right? When you hear a quote, motivation implies some form of conflict. It's like, okay, what does that mean? Well, let's look at what does it mean to have a motivation first? What does it mean to have a motive? You know? And so frequently our motives have gone unquestioned. And then we are just um continuously pursuing or driving without even knowing where we're going. Like that's the essence of very much a lot of humanity. And that's as in the awareness just hasn't kicked in. There hasn't been enough friction to where something internally, like electric, electrically ignites or explodes, or there's a combustion. Because you get to a point where, if you've heard this, that the devil is God's agent, pain in your life is like this spark. You know, for a fire to ignite, you need a few set of things. And one of those things is a combustion, like a spark. Then you need fuel and oxygen. This is how life works too. And the pain is like God prescribing you, um, right? He's giving you the medicine within the peanut butter, essentially. That's how pain works. And well, I'm not saying I'm on the other end. I'm not saying I don't feel pain. I'm not saying this only applies to you. But I am saying that our relationship to um who we think ourselves to be affects how we feel what we feel. Yeah? Because if you can be aware that you're both the one who is thinking and the one who is watching that you're thinking, then you start to see, wait, so am I just Justin? Am I something beyond Justin? Well, you're both. You're obviously here, so you're not just one thing, right? We're individuals in bodies. But at the same time, you can very much feel that you're not just this body. So it's like, okay, well, what do we make of that, right? And that just means that you can use that awareness of your deeper nature to guide you throughout your daily life. So that means how you speak to people, what you feel when you speak to people. Like, feel that. Notice what you're thinking. Notice the part of you that may get offended when I say something that's honest or true. Notice the part of you which may agree with me and then be like, wait, why am I agreeing? I'm not telling you to be like what, but I'm telling you, you can't agree with me. There's no point. That's the shallowness of us like trying to, um, I don't know. And at the same time, sure, we can have basic, bare bone, short communication. What do they call it? Like just small talk. We can. That's okay. But there's levels to it, right? You can feel when you're too much into small talk, and it's like, oh wait, this is what am I doing here? But I'm not saying don't have small talk. So see, this is as far as I'm going to go in the essence. Now, why self honesty is difficult yet worthwhile. I mean, self honesty is one of these pillars in your life where it almost invites pain, right? Because yourself, when you question who you are and what you do, then you may offend yourself. You may trigger yourself. Because when you do an honest audit on who you are, you may see some things that you've been avoiding or hiding in the fog, like Mr. Peterson would say. ultimately, that's the hard part because it's painful because then you start judging yourself. But that's part of the work too, because as you do this work, you start to see how you judge yourself. You learn through noticing, wait, okay, I'm judging myself and I'm aware that I'm judging myself. What has happened? Right. And as you clean up your life, you have less to judge. And as you judge yourself less, then that compassion can blossom because you can see, oh, wow, I used to be really hard on myself. And now I can have this compassion for other people who are very, very lost or hard on themselves or hard on you because they're very lost. Yeah. So, how to ignite enthusiasm naturally? And this is almost the process of just figuring out what's your anti role model. Like, what is it that that I can't become? Who is it that I see in others that scares me? Like, what type of individual can I just never be? Right. And for me, that's kind of this energy where I'm out of control, I'm dependent, I'm like chaotic, I'm, you know, just a mess. That what it does in the nature of the world, it really I don't know if you know what a Beyblade is, but essentially, you probably understand what the word ricochet means. And it's like when a bullet or something bounces off the wall. That's how your energy projects into this world when you're a mess, when you're chaotic. And I don't know, I just feel that too deeply myself in my own life, like my own chaos. I can't do that. I just can't. Now, if you feel you resonate with that, like actually being accountable, taking this life with extreme care and living in alignment, letting God actually guide you and surrendering to the fact that you know you have no power. Now, you may be strong, but that strength comes from the surrender. Okay? Now, what a lack of enthusiasm is implying about you. And it's a few things, right? It could be that you're judging yourself extremely and that most of your energy is just stuck in a vicious cycle. And that's probably one of the best ones because as you start to if you ever played Jenga, where you stack those wooden blocks, you take one piece out at a time and inevitably that thing whoosh. It's the same thing with a lack, right? If you start to like pull the pieces of what create lack, if you look at the structure of lack holistically, and then you start to pull at the individual compartments of, yeah, it makes sense. Then that whole thing will crumble down. It'll get clear for you. And as you do that, I mean, it's beautiful because then you have positive, quote unquote, positive feedback loops. The reason I'll say this quick, I use the quote unquote, is because there really isn't anything negative or positive holistically because it's all working for you. As I said, pain is this uh, medicine in the peanut butter. It's a gift. It's just kind of hard to swallow sometimes. So therefore, yeah, digressing. Um, is there anything else a lack of enthusiasm is implying about you? Listen, it's probably just that you're judging yourself, and very well, you may need to be judging yourself. You may really know that you're doing things that are just destructive, and therefore you have a conflict because you know you shouldn't be doing these things, but you still keep doing them. And then you just kind of have to have this discipline yet surrender where it's like, okay, what can I do to help myself? But how can I not force this? How can I accept that I do need help? That I am not just going to force this away. Please, that sort of sharp balance with grace. Now, okay, why self honesty is difficult yet worthwhile? Simplicity is hard because it's blatantly showing you what needs to be done. And sometimes we are battling with ourselves. Yeah. Yeah. How to ignite enthusiasm naturally? Using painful drive to act. and change the internal vibration through an alchemy, which unfolds when you notice your mind, your feelings, and personal judgments. And then that noticing can crack open the motive, or it can crack open whatever the obstruction is. Now, what a lack of enthusiasm is implying about you. Seasons are seasons. They real There really is not fruit in being too harsh with yourself, but do be a man or lady who genuinely is aligned with their spirit, not conforming out of lower vibrations. Now, summary: the essence of life is that things are not really as they seem, yet it's not that complex either. And this is things that I can't tell you because you have to learn them. And if I were to say them out loud, they probably wouldn't hit home because you have to learn them. Hence why a lot of the intelligence is written not straightforward. Because real intelligence can't just be put like do this and do that. It's kind of like you have to let that thing unfold or unlock. It's like you got this chest and you're just waiting for the key. You don't even know the shape of the chest or the key lock. But ultimately, thank you guys. Thank you. Big hug. Yeah. Let's go. New episodes are out every Monday, Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And if you want to learn more, we got a few things for you. Number one, the free journaling prompts down below. And number two, access to my 11-page doc, How to Reduce Stress and Anxiety. Bonus is 2 to 4 new weekly emails, so grab your gift below. Speak soon.